Hi, Lower Key Stage 2. There's a lot going on in this video, so I'm going to maybe split it into 2 or 3 separate little chunks. Last week you turned your realistic portrait into an abstract portrait, and now we're going to use that abstract portrait to design a print made out of 2 colours. And the very first thing I wanted to show you, this is something you should be experimenting with anyway. I've got these weird little stampy things, they're great. Hoping they're going to work, is that when I'm doing a 2-stage print, just in case this hasn't come out for yourselves, is I start with my lightest colour. See if we can get any more of that colour on. Oh, there we go. Start with my lightest colour, and that's going to give me the shape. So where this shading is, I will use that as one printing matrix block I'm going to print from, not using that. And then you add your darker colours to give your detail on top, because they stand out really brightly. So hopefully you've had a little play with these and some of the ink pads yesterday. Okay, but how are you going to make your printing blocks? Well, like I said, I need to separate this into 2 things. I need to think about my background. So everywhere I've shaded, I'm going to sort of generally think, oh, maybe that's where my background is. I'm just going to have a look. So it's quite a big shape there. And maybe one up here and one here. Okay. What I think might work really well for you guys is either to trace or sort of copy these areas across, so you can start thinking where are they going to go, and then need a little bit of tone under her eye as well. And some of this, it would be nice if I cut some gaps in to make her hair feel more hair-like. I think she needs a darker eyebrow up there, and this whole of this side of her face is quite a lot darker. There's a little blob there for her lip. Okay, so the nicest thing to do might be to trace this down onto your blocks twice. So we'll go and do that now. So to trace down, I've coloured very lightly on the back with a very soft pencil. That's a 6B. And then hopefully I'll be able to get the nice side of my block. I've actually made my blocks a bit too small. Make sure your blocks fix the thing. And I'm going to do this one. I'm going to use a harder pencil to press down. This is going to be my detail one. So I'm going to follow all the lines of her detail. Now, my detail bits are lines, and that's not necessarily going to work when I need shapes, is it? So we're going to see how we get on. Let's have a look. Oh, it's very, very faint. I don't know if you can see that, but it has traced through. While I'm here, I'm just going to sketch over some of them so you can see them. Probably needed to spend a bit more time colouring. There's her nose. Okay. But you've still got your original. That's just going to tell me, isn't it, where everything's going to go on there. I'm going to stop for a minute and view the other one. Okay then, so for this one, I've coloured much harder on the back. Let's see if we're more successful. And I'm just going to outline those areas that are shaded, because those are the areas I want to print in my lighter colour. Okay, doesn't have to be dead accurate. We're doing abstraction. The more happy mistakes we end up with, the better sometimes, I think. So I've just gone around. This might be really good, guys, if your teacher could photocopy your little sketch in your book. This would work really, really well. Okay, shall we see if that's worked this time? Oh, that's much clearer. So I still need to use this sketch as a reference, but that's going to work well. So this is the foam. It's like the sort of craft foam we use quite a lot, but this stuff has a sticky back, which means Now I'm going to free cut these. If you want to come up with other ways of doing it, also fine. Just cut myself a little piece to work with. I can see here that there's a shape sort of like that. Looking very similar. I might straighten off those edges because we're being more abstract. And then I'm going to cut that out. Peel off the back and stick it to my matrix there. Okay, I'm going to do that for the rest of this face. Okay, so hopefully you can see I didn't leave much scrap. I just kept cutting away. I've got tiny little bits. I didn't go and get a new big bit each time. I've got that piece left, but I'm really quite happy that I've covered most of this side of the face. I might actually put a tiny bit in that bit there, and that's going to be the light part of my abstract face. It doesn't matter that it's made up from tiny bits. What I did have to make sure is that nothing is overlapping. They're all just sat next to each other because we need a nice flat surface for the ink to go on. But that's my light colour done. Okay, so now I'm going to have a go at the dark colour. It is tricky because it's mostly thin lines. So again, I'm just going to cut myself a section. I have swapped for a darker foam. You don't have to. I just thought it might make it easier for you guys to see. I'm not going to be able to get as much detail in this as I did in the other one, but that's fine. I'm going to cut myself some strips and I'm going to put those down her hair, and then I'm just going to work my way around. I might cut a whole eye shape out, or I might just cut the circle out. We'll see. Okay, I'm going to have a go at this. It will end up being even more abstract, more simplified than we started with, and we'll see if it looks a little bit like a face. That would be nice, wouldn't it? You know. Okay, so I hope you can see that that is vaguely a face. It is really fiddly. I suspect you guys might be better doing it a lot bigger than I have. At least A5, this is more like an A6. But I wanted you to be able to see it on screen next to the original abstract drawing. It's nowhere near the same as my drawing. It won't be. We're on an abstracting journey, getting more and more abstract as we go. Can have a go at printing this now. So this is my light first block. You might just do this on day 1, and on day 2 you might do this one and then print this one. Okay, take care.